Hey y'all, welcome back to the Coco Swatches YouTube channel. My name is Ofune and I am the face behind some of the swatches you might be seeing in your social media feeds. As the title says, today we are going to talk about everything you need to know about the new Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder Foundation. So we're going to talk about different ways to wear it, and hopefully you'll get any questions you have about this foundation answered in today's video. So let's just jump right in, shall we? So to get started, we have beautiful Rihanna here on the Fenty Beauty pamphlet that came in my PR package. So I'm just going to read a little bit about what this foundation claims to do. So it says, from a no makeup look to full coverage with ease, 50 shades for flawless skin on the fly. So from a touch-up beat to full beat, flexible powder foundation for skin that looks like skin. So we've seen like this whole year really, and even last year, it's like going from this full coverage kind of trend to like very skin-like finishes. All the foundations that are coming out are really claiming to give you that skin-like finish, but also give you coverage. So this one also claims to be blurring, long-wearing, non-cakey, light as air, no flashback, crease resistant, sweat resistant, and humidity. Oh, they're giving us a lot of different claims here. Coming out big and bad, as Fenty Beauty should. I mean, they do have a lot of skin in the game. They're no longer a new brand. We love them, we respect them. So in today's video, I really wanted to put to the test, like, what can this foundation do? And in general, what can powder foundations do? Because to be honest, like, I am not really a powder foundation type of person. Like, I'm good with my liquid. Even when I use powder foundation under or over my foundations, it's usually something with super light coverage. I'm really like someone that does all glam, or really I'm not wearing anything at all. So like, even for me, like, I needed to explore like, what can one do with the powder foundation? And then obviously specifically, how does this one perform? So we're gonna just go into a quick demo portion where I'm just gonna show y'all some of the ways I think that this foundation does well. To be honest with y'all, I had to film this video many times, so you're gonna see different hairstyles and different days, you know, in the footage that you're about to see. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so first, the way we're gonna get into is like, I think what everyone wants to know is like, how does this foundation look by itself, right? So to start off, I'm going to apply the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. It doubles as both a moisturizer and a primer. So I want to make sure that the powder doesn't look like too dry or too patchy. So this is like a good product to put on before any powder. So now I'm ready for the Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I'm using the shade 445. It does come with its own little sponge, so I thought I would put it to the test. So I'm just patting the product into the face with the sponge. You can kind of tell that like the powder actually blends out to a deeper shade than what it looks like in the pan. And it's also giving me like pretty decent coverage. Like, I was kind of surprised. It's actually giving me like probably like medium. Like, I have a scar there that's not being covered, but I mean, it's pretty good. So that's like with the powder and without the powder. I'm low-key kind of obsessed at this point. Like, it's really skin-like but still matte. Like, I feel like it looks, it's popping. So now we had to try with the brush. So this is an e.l.f. brush, and I want to kind of see the difference in finish and coverage. So you can see the same effect with like it getting a little bit darker as I'm blending it in, but you hopefully can kind of tell that it's like a slightly more like airbrush look, and there is a little bit of a lighter coverage with like this first layer I'm applying, but it still like looks really good in my opinion. It's just going to be like a little bit lighter coverage, but I'm sure like also too you could build up that coverage. But that's the sponge side, and this is the brush side. Both of them look bomb to me. Let me know which side you prefer in the comment section down below. So I wanted to really put this foundation to the test and like apply my concealer and everything on top of it. So I just applied like the Fenty Beauty What It Do, I think it's called, their setting spray, and I applied my concealers. This is the shade 400 and 360, and so I do feel like a little bit more of a tug than I normally would. Like, it's a little bit harder to blend out, but nothing too wild. So that is what I look like with the concealer, and I went ahead and finished my complexion off camera. And this is my finished look. I've actually never tried powder as a base before, so this is my first time, but after this, I definitely would try this again. Okay, so y'all just saw me put it on by itself and as a foundation. So I want to show y'all how I would typically use it, like how I typically use powder foundations in general, and then we'll just recap all the thoughts. So yeah, let's get into that clip. So for round 2 on testing out this foundation, I want to do something closer to my normal complexion routine. So I'm starting off bare face and doing a little bit of color correcting. This is my Fenty Beauty Concealer in the shade 445. I'm just blending it out where, like under the eyes and over my mouth area to kind of just color correct. Now I'm going to apply the powder as like a base before my liquid foundation. So this step is to help my liquid foundation last a little bit longer. So I'm using 445 again. This is a Milani foundation brush. Like I'm just applying a very light layer just so that my liquid foundation has something to adhere to that makes it just last that much longer. So after that, I spray it down with the Milani Make It Dewy spray. I know it's kind of weird, dewy and matte, but I feel like the two together make a good mix. So now I'm putting on my Fenty Beauty, the OG, the original now, the OG matte foundation in 445 also. And I'm going to do the same concealer combo as before, the 400 with 360. And this is performing how it normally would when I do the powder before foundation trick. Doesn't really, it's doing what I expect it to do. I'm not noticing any like huge differences quite yet. So now I'm putting on the my Fenty Beauty setting powder. Not like that, y'all should not do that. Never fails with me. Some kind of a mishap. That's the powder in Cashew. So to finish, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Concealer in 498 to do a little bit of sculpting and then applying my Fenty Beauty Bronzer in Coconati on top of it. So that's really like all I'm gonna do for this foundation routine. I'm not really feeling highlighter at the moment. So I'm going to go do my lips and finish my eyes off camera. And this is my finished look. So obviously we want to use this as a setting powder as well. So we're applying it again all over the face just to see what the effect is. It gives a really beautiful blurring effect that's not too matte and just makes everything come together. So y'all just saw three ways to wear this foundation. One, you can wear it as a foundation like by itself if you're just going out of the house and you just want to put something on that has a little bit of coverage on it. Pop this on. Two, we saw it used like actually as your foundation. Like I swapped it out for my usual liquid foundation and put my concealer and put all my products, my blushes, my contour, bronzer, etc., and saw how it performed there. And then 3, how I'm wearing it today and how the clip that you just saw, putting it under foundation as a base and then over to finish. So I have my notes here. I'm organized today. I have there we go. I jinxed myself. So let's get into, first of all, the coverage, right? So whether you're wearing it by itself or you're wearing it under, over, really what is going to determine how much coverage you get is the tool you use. So I found, like, even I have them right here. They come with these little, let me hold it up properly. So here's the foundation. Comes with these little sponges, which I think that most like powder foundations come with because they don't want you to have to go out and purchase a tool to use the product, which is smart. But personally, I probably won't use this just because like I prefer my beauty blender or like a beauty sponge. But a sponge is going to give you, whether it's this sponge or a beauty sponge, a sponge is going to give you the most amount of coverage. And I really, really love the way that it looked when I use a sponge over like a very moisturized face. Like I thought the finish was beautiful. It's not too matte. It isn't cakey. It does look like skin. Like I have never really had can't talk, got me speechless. I've never had a powder foundation that's made me look like that. And like I said, to be fair, I'm not someone that goes out and purchases a lot of powder foundation. So yeah, maybe I'm biased, obviously, because this is the first one I'm actually taking the time out to explore. But like I was impressed by the way that my face looked with just moisturizer and foundation and this powder foundation. So doing it with a brush is going to give you coverage. Doing it with a sponge is going to give you coverage. Doing it with a brush is going to, I feel like, give you more of that airbrushed, like flawless look because it is more of a finisher. So it has like coverage on it, but that's something like I feel like you use the brush when you want to put it over, like maybe you have concealer on, maybe you have other products on and you want to finish the face, or if you just really don't want a lot of coverage, then use a brush. So coverage wise, I think it can get you to a bit medium. I have a scar here. I can't tell from all the way back here if it's covered, but I know from all the other clips that the powder by itself wasn't able to cover it. So I think you can get to about a medium coverage with this foundation, which I think is pretty good for a powder foundation. I don't think you want powder foundation that gives you like full coverage, because that's when it does start to look cakey. And so then let's just jump right in, you know, transition into the finish of it. So like the finish, like I said, it is very skin-like. You would think that a powder foundation would give you like a super mattifying look, but like it's actually quite skin-like. And I have oily combination skin, right? So after about 2 hours with any foundation, the oil starts to come through, which sometimes I like, because like I do my foundation in such a way that I know that eventually like the natural oils will start to come through. Same thing happened with this, which was good though, because like I felt like, you know, with powder it can look powdery. And so, you know, after 2 hours it started looking how my normal foundations look, which I think is a good sign. And I was able to use a brush and touch up real quick, and it didn't look like layering the foundation, like how can I put this? Basically, like you can build up the coverage without it looking cakey. There you go. I was able to layer the foundation without it looking too cakey or getting all like weird looking. Like it just was able to touch me up and still look seamless. So one thing that's not quite apparent in the demo portion is the color of these foundations compared to like the other formulas. So I have it probably will be up by the time this video goes up, but I had swatched the Pro Filter matte versus the hydrating versus the powder, and in the 3 shades I was sent, which was 430, 445, and 450, in every instance the powder was like a touch darker, and so I think that was a little bit intentional, just because like if you do use this as a finisher, let's say you are using like the hydrating, I don't think you would want a light powder on top, because then it would just make you look lighter. So I feel like maybe they figured like if you're going to try to make it an exact match, it's better to skew darker than lighter. Personally, I don't have an issue with it, but I think it's just important to note that they do skew a little bit darker than the other formulas that Fenty has. And so if you're wearing it by itself, that might matter to you. To me, it still looked like my shade. So, I mean, I just want to put it out there. This is about everything you might want to know. So just saying, but it's also kind of cool too that maybe you might be able to like get a different shade than you normally would, or maybe if you haven't been able to find a shade in Fenty, maybe you'll be able to find a shade in the powder version. Just saying. I do wish I got some of the deeper shades, just because I am curious to know how this might perform as like contours and bronzers. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm probably not gonna go out and get them just for that purpose, because obviously they have bronzers and contours already from Fenty. But a lot of people, before the brands were making us bronzers and contours, we would just go out and get pressed powder. So it might also be too, like if you don't like the bronzer shades that they have available, you might be able to like get a deeper shade of one of the powder foundations and use it for that purpose. And that brings us into price, because do you want to spend that amount of money for a bronzer or a contour if you're not using it as foundation? And the answer is, I don't know the price. They didn't give us the price of the pamphlet. You know what? Actually, it might be on Instagram. Hold please. So as I suspected, I went to the Fenty Beauty website, and they do have the link up for the foundation. Obviously, you can't buy it yet, but it does have the price, which is $36. I think that the other foundations are a little bit cheaper. So, I mean, not a little bit, like $1 difference, but it's just interesting. I don't know how they price. I don't know why. I can't give you an insight on that, but $36. So, I mean, it's basically the same price as the other ones. You might not want to buy too many of them if you want to use them for multi-use, but if you are like a makeup artist and you're building your kit, you know, here's the shades. I don't have them, but they have given me the little pamphlet to show you what they look like, just to get an idea. If you are interested in like, you know, getting specific shades for your kit, might be worth the investment. And so last but not least, wear test. So like I said, I filmed this video a few times. From what I have observed, I ran with it. I probably will insert a clip here of me after my run. I think that it does what it says it does. The oils are still going to come through. It's not a powder foundation that's going to keep you matte like all day long. Like, I don't think that's the function of this at all. So if that's what you're looking for, this might not be what you want. Like, I'm thinking of, like, I don't know, MAC, what's it called? What is the MAC? Oh my gosh, my brain. I was gonna call it MAC Fit Me, but you know, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forget the name of this. But you know, the MAC foundation that everyone started off with. Like, I feel like that's a matte foundation that will keep you matte all day, or Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is not that. So it's going to wear like a natural matte foundation will wear. It's not going to, like, throughout the day. It's not going to be something where you are going to, like, your face is going to be stuck in place all day. It's going to move around like a natural finish foundation, basically. Obviously, because it's powder, it does have some mattifying qualities, but it's not like gonna keep you looking stuck. That's not the purpose of it at all. As it says, it's meant for your skin to look like skin. I rambled and say all that to say, I think that this has about the same wear as the other two foundations, which is pretty good. Obviously, no foundation is gonna give you 24-hour coverage, but if you are trying to create a look that needs to last all day, this will do it for you. But if you're only to combination skin, expect to need to just touch up a couple times throughout the day, which, I mean, at least for me, is the usual deal. Like, so that's all my thoughts on this foundation. It can be layered, great coverage. The price is comparable with the other foundations, comes in all 50 shades. Honestly, like, Fenty Beauty does not want us to go to any other brand. They want us to get every single thing. The only thing that they're missing is like a matte blush, and I feel like complexion they're done. Like, they killed the game. Like, what else do we need? Like, but you know, I really do like, I think this is something that is very in line with like their brand. It is a product that is familiar but also new in its formula. So like, I feel like that's what Fenty Beauty does really well. Like, obviously in makeup, you can't really reinvent the wheel, so to speak. Like, lipstick is lipstick, right? Foundation is foundation, but like their formulas, their color choices, a lot of the decisions that they make their brand really unique. Obviously their shade range, and so I think this is just an extension of that. It's a powder foundation, but it's still skin-like. Like, what more can I say? So with that, I thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you got your questions answered. If I did not answer a question that you had, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to give this video a like if you like today's content, and subscribe to this channel. Like, I'm about to come hard in 2021. Like, mark my words, this channel, we about to get more popping content for y'all up. If you have anything specific that you want me to cover, let me know in the comment section down below as well, because yeah, this channel, we are leveling up in 2021 for this YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.